I believe when this video comes out, the new Hunger Games movie, which is the Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds, is coming out on November 17th. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't read The Hunger Games, and I haven't read it because like back in the day when The Hunger Games first came out, at least like in that era, it was very much a competitive, you either are this or you're that. You're either Backstreet Boys or NSYNC. You're either, like, it just was constantly Percy Jackson versus Harry Potter. And then for Hunger Games, it was either Divergent or Hunger Games. And I read Divergent, hands down. It was like the best series ever. But I felt like I missed out with Hunger Games, and I also felt like I wasn't allowed to read Hunger Games because I was reading Divergent. It was like a weird time period in my childhood. Anyways, that's not the point. Now you can just read whatever you want whenever you want it, and it just works out perfectly. So I really want to read the Hunger Games trilogy. I don't have the Ballad of Songbirds, but I am getting it. It's just not here yet, but it should be here in like a couple days. So I'm not concerned about that just yet, but I am gonna read these 3 books that I got from Thrift Books. I went on Thrift Books and got these because I think they were like 99 cents for like this one, and then this one was like $1.99, and then this one I think also was $1.99, except this one's the large print. So like, it's so big. It's such large print. But I'm excited because all of these books are pretty small and easy to get through. And also they are on Kindle Unlimited if you were interested in reading them and you were like, oh, I don't want to buy them, but I don't have them. They are on Kindle Unlimited. This is gonna be as spoiler free as I can possibly get it to be. So there's that. I don't feel like it has to be spoiler free because I feel like majority of people have read The Hunger Games, but in case you haven't, this will be spoiler free. Up and like even the last book will also be spoiler free. I'm so excited to see the movie though, because, and also another thing, I haven't even seen the movies, so there's just so much excitement going into all of that. But I am gonna read these books. I finished book 1 and I don't really know what I think about it. It's definitely like YA. I don't know. I thought this was gonna be dragged out more. It, like, all of it gets concluded in the first book. The only thing that's left you is really their love for each other. I feel like otherwise, like, this gets pretty nicely wrapped up. There was one scene where I cried when Katniss picks the flower and sings the song. Other than that, like, it was very, I don't know. I thought that there would be more combat. Like, a lot of the deaths that happen, there was one that was actually on purpose, but other than that, they kind of just hid and wait for other people to kill each other. I don't know. It was fine though. Like, it wasn't bad. I feel like the movie probably did a better job with it in like keeping you on your toes. In this, it's just like a lot of like, they're in their cave, they're doing this, they're doing that, and it doesn't feel like there's any sense of danger. It doesn't feel like at any point they could be caught. So it was fine. I gave this 3 stars, but I'm hoping that the other ones are better because everybody seems to be obsessed with the Hunger Games, and I'm still waiting for that to kind of click. And I'm thinking that hopefully it happens in like the 2nd book or even the 3rd book. It's 2:20 and I finished. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. So in this one, like, it's kind of the aftermath of what happened in the first book, and there's a bit of like a rebellion happening because of what happened in the first book. And because, like, honestly, the first, I don't even know, like, it was kind of annoying because this is the actual like Hunger Games part. This is just like leading up to the Hunger Games. I don't care about this. It doesn't even really go into like the romance aspect of anything. It's just like the day-to-day stuff, and I really wasn't connecting with anything that was happening. It was fine, I guess, I don't know. But literally like the first 80% of the book, I was like, okay, when are we getting to like the good part? Once again, it didn't feel like there was a lot of scheming. It just felt like things just kind of happened, and they didn't really have like much to do about it. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens in the third book and how this all gets wrapped up. I finished this book, but then I also finished this book, and I finished them in the span of like 3 days. Let me explain why I didn't record any of it. Okay, first of all, I was going to, but then I got so sucked into this one that I was like not pausing. Like, I think I paused like a couple times to go to the bathroom and take like sips of water, but otherwise I just was reading this, like just reading it. And then this one I started yesterday and finished today, and I have so many thoughts going through my head right now. Well, let's talk about this before I talk about the whole series in general. This is the final book in the Hunger Games trilogy. I'm gonna be honest, I felt like it was super slow in the first parts, and I understand that they were like gearing up for the war, but I felt like it just was all political, and the first two books are political, but this one is just, here's more politics that you have to understand. And it was kind of confusing, and I really truly don't get it. I don't understand. Who was the bad guy? Was the Capitol no longer the bad guy? It was District 13 and the Capitol, like versus the Capitol, and it felt like nobody was a winner. Like, it just felt like you didn't want to back either of them. It was really just like, okay, which one's less bad? This entire series, like all three of these books, Katniss is a very calculated, okay, like this person is doing this just to mess with my head. Like, nothing's genuine to her. And I feel like in book 3, there were like genuine emotions coming out of her that she truly didn't understand. And she was like, I don't know why I care about this. I don't know why this bothers me. And, you know, other people are telling her, well, you're feeling this way because of this. Like, everybody can see this is how you're feeling. And she's like, I don't see that. Like, I don't understand. Is that true? I liked this one. I probably liked this one the second best of the series, just because, again, like, it felt very slow. This is the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is supposed to tell you like why Snow's evil, but I had so many questions in this, and I was very confused. And honestly, Snow reads like Katniss at times, and or like a combination of Katniss and Peeta at times. And that was like very confusing for me because he's supposed to be such a horrible person in the Hunger Games. And I thought that this was gonna explain why he became a horrible person, but it didn't really. It just made you sympathetic towards him, if anything. Like, yeah, he's a rule follower and he's trying to just like make sure his family's okay, but that was very confusing to me. A lot of his behavior, and maybe this book just like flew over my head, I don't know, but a lot of his behavior, I was like, either you're an unreliable narrator or like something happened after the prequel to make you who you are, because as it stands right now, this person would never become this person. Like, these are not the same Snows. They're not the same. But I did like that there were nods to the Hunger Games in here, in Snow's character. There's a scene where some secrets get spilled out. I think that's in the third book. Secrets get spilled out about President Snow, and at the very, very end, it's not even until the epilogue that you see where those secrets came from or how they started. So that was kind of fun. Like, that was a little fun nod. But at the same time, like, I wish there was more of that. Like, I wish there were more nods as to Snow's behavior. And I also wish that there was more, like, clarity as to how his feelings shifted and how they were changing. He's just a scared little boy. And there's a character in here, Dr. Gall. She is the head game master at this time. And she is like horrible. I wish that he wasn't so afraid of her and that he started to understand her, that he started to see her ways, because she puts him in all of these like trials or these tests and like this like vacation, all of this stuff, right? Like she does all of these things. She was like, that was to teach you this. And he doesn't ever really truly, like it doesn't change his brain behavior. It doesn't change how he feels. It doesn't change how he thinks. And I think if it did, like, I think he would be more vocal about that. Like he would be like, hey, no, like they actually have something going on here. I feel like he just wasn't a bad person. I think he just was somebody that had gone through some bad things. The first 2 parts of this book are like here. And then the third part of the book is like here, like energy wise is like here. Oh, I really liked the nod to The Hanging Tree is by Lucy Gray Baird. I gave this one 4 stars. I think I gave every book, I just sneezed. I think I gave all of these books 3 stars. I think I would give this series 3 stars. I think the only reason why I'm giving it 3 stars because I know that these are incredible, and I hear that the movies do really, really well staying with the plot line. So I'm excited to see the movies. I haven't seen any of the movies yet, so I'm excited to watch those. I think I'm giving this 3 stars because what I remember from Divergent is that it did a much better job with the thriller aspect, the action aspect. My heart was racing. I needed to read the next line. I needed to finish it immediately. I think Divergent did a lot better with like backstabbing and plot twists and stuff like that. This was more straightforward. You knew what was happening. You kind of gathered a lot of that, what was happening, except for the end of this. It was the only time I was really shocked. The only time I was like, what? So other than that, but I mean, everything else was very predictable. This I gave 4 stars. This book also came out in 2020. I think this one came out in 2010. So like 10 years later, she wrote this book. She's got much more experience in writing under her belt. So you can definitely see that in her writing style. It's a lot more mature. It's a lot cleaner. It's a lot crisper. You understand that she's grown a lot as an author. So I gave this one 4 stars because it's just better put together. You can tell that this one is one that she got a chance to really explore and really feel out, and I think this one was definitely her best work. But I would probably give the Hunger Games series 3 stars. I'm not gonna think about these books. I'm probably not gonna reread these books. They were good, but I mean, and I would recommend them. I would recommend this entire series to anyone that's looking for like a fun dystopian, YA dystopian type of book. I would definitely recommend these. I would definitely recommend these. But am I gonna read them again? Probably not. But they're fun. They were super fun and I liked it and I had a good time. That's it. That's the whole video. I hope you enjoyed this reading vlog. I am so sorry. Every time I don't record like the reading part of the reading vlog, I always feel so bad, but it's because I get so sucked into the books that I'm like, oh, I'll record it in just a second. I just want to finish this paragraph. And then I don't. So, I'm sorry. I forgot to say, like, thank you again, and please comment and subscribe and do all of those things. Don't forget to subscribe because that really helps me and it makes me really happy when people do subscribe. I get so excited every time I see I have a new subscriber. So if you could please subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. And I think that's all. Okay, now goodbye.